What a guan, what a guan, what a guan. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, happy Friday. It's been a long week, man. Been a long week. Your boy's been working hard. Been working hard. There we go. So, good to go there. All right, so what do we got going on here? Who do we have in the chat? Hello, Igwe's daughter. Hello, Positive Therapist. Hello, Angelique. Hello. Hello, Seek Amethys. Okay. Chat's been pretty busy, I see. Hey, Craig. Hello. Doing good. How are you guys doing? Doing good, everybody. Okay, nice. So I'm not struggle streaming today. All right. So got a great show for you guys today. Super duper good show. Not as funny as yesterday's show. So weight loss. Everybody's got to deal with that, right? So the question is, what's your liver got to do with losing weight? A lot, as it turns out, right? Your liver is very important to health. Your metabolism, ability to burn fat, lose weight, detoxify the body, obviously. So for those of you who've been struggling with any kind of weight loss, you've tried this, you've diet, workout, this, that, nothing seems to be working. If you're already overweight, perhaps your liver is not functioning optimally. I mean, it's involved in virtually everything in your body, right? Got to turn nutrients from food to substance your body can use, breaking down fats, obviously getting rid of toxins, creating energy. That toxic substance part is obviously pretty important, right? Because if your liver is not functioning properly, you tend to store fat, especially around that midsection area, unfortunately, right? Plus, you have a much harder time getting to the nutrients you need to burn fat. When your liver is overworked, a lot of inflammation can build up, which again can lead to, putting on the weight, right? It is what it is. You can't overcome this, right? You pretty much, as a matter of fact, you could argue weight loss is pretty much impossible if your liver is not functioning properly. It's that important, right? Your liver is that important. It's not something you think about. You can't see it. you can't feel it, right? So I figured that would be an interesting thing to touch on today, right? And this is where, when you're not eating properly, that's the genesis of this, right? Certain things you put in your body impact your liver, which has this domino effect on everything else. As a matter of fact, although I'm telling you it was about weight loss, it even impacts your muscles, right? Because there's a link between your liver and your skeletal muscles, which touches onto your overall metabolism, right? So skeletal muscle is going to store amino acids, which can be distributed to the liver or elsewhere in the body when there's, like a need for more protein synthesis or energy, depends, right? So liver also stores glucose as glycogen, so it can transform that nutrients into sugar. And so there's just so many things that your liver is necessary for, not just for weight loss, but also for muscles, right? So your liver is super duper critical. So today we're going to look at a video, right? It's going to touch on that.
There's 7 things in a lot of foods that will ruin your liver. And I wanted to increase your awareness on this because a lot of people are being exposed to these things on a regular basis and they don't know it. And as far as your liver goes, you're about as healthy as your liver. Your skin is a reflection of the liver. If your liver is bad, your skin's not going to look too good. The liver is a huge organ. It's like 3 pounds. It helps you with digestion. It helps your blood clot. Mainly, it helps you detoxify poisons. It turns poisonous things into harmless things, okay? And so let's dive right in and go through the list. Number 1, you want to avoid soy protein isolates. Here's a big question about soy protein isolates. What do you think they do to isolate this protein from soy? Well, they use chemicals. It's highly processed. They have to go through a whole series of things to
Use a pretty dangerous chemical processing using hexane, right? And the fact is, unfortunately, it's always about the money, right? It's the cheapest way to process this stuff. So until some kind of more cost-effective, safer method comes about, they're pretty much going to use this hexane, right? Hexane, by the way, is a poison. It even sounds not healthy, right? Poisonous, hexane, yeah. So unfortunately, and it's in everything. I shouldn't say everything. It's in a lot of things, right? Your non-organic veggie burgers, meat alternative stuff, nutrition bars, energy bars. The typical protein bar is really a candy bar in disguise, just to be honest. If you look at a typical protein bar, it doesn't even have that much soy protein isolate in there anyway. It's really a chocolate bar. But soy protein isolate, not the best way to get your protein. It's not the best way to get your protein. Always go for whole foods first.
extract this concentrated protein. And to do that, they have to use something called hexane. That's a petroleum byproduct. It's a solvent. It's not good for the liver. It's actually a neurotoxin. And
so think about this. A solvent, right? That's something to dissolve things. It's kind of like Coca-Cola, right? Pepsi. When you Google some of the uses you can do for this stuff, it can be used to clean toilets really well or get the corrosion off of a battery in the car. So what do you think that's doing to your insides? Exactly. It's cleaning out your insides, dissolving them, right? This may sound like an exaggeration, but it's not an exaggeration. It is a poison. It is a harsh substance. Think about that, right? If you can use something to clean something or dissolve something and you're consuming that something, even if it's theoretically safe or safe enough, nothing good can come of this.
So when you look at like diet shakes or diet powders or protein bars or veggie burgers, always read the label.
I preach this in so many shows, right? That was one of the biggest things that helped me when I started to lose weight is I actually started to read the damn labels. And when you see names that you cannot pronounce and you have no clue what the hell this stuff is, just take your phone and Google it. And inevitably, you'll see also the bad crap, whether it's linked to infertility or issues with hormones or something with your hair or your skin or your this or your that or cancer, obviously. Read the labels, man. And almost anything you buy normally in the course of your life, you can find a clean version of it. I don't care what it is. Shampoo, pizza, my ice cream cake sandwiches. I get the organic ones. Don't have any crazy stuff in there. Anything you want to buy, you can find a significant cleaner version. I've talked about Environmental Working Group before. It's a not-for-profit like Consumer Reports. Just go to their website. They have a cosmetics database. They have a database for all this stuff, and they rank these things, right? So you want to find the best Johnson & Johnson shampoo, whether it's for you, significant other, your kids, whatever. That stuff exists.
I don't recommend consuming it if it has soy protein isolates. The way I was introduced to soy protein isolates is that I had a series of people that came into my clinic that were on the diet that was called ideal protein. And that was a major ingredient in this so-called healthy ketogenic plan where it had very low carbs, but it also had very, very low fat, okay? And very, very low quality ingredients. And so it was filled with soy protein isolates. And I noticed when people got on that program, when they lost weight, and they did lose weight, they didn't look healthy. And a number of them developed serious like liver inflammation, higher amount of liver enzymes.
That's like your ALT and AST, which you can see in any pretty much standard labs, right? Any standard labs, you can see this. So he's talking about the enzymes being elevated. The good thing with your liver is it can heal itself, right? If you give it a break from bombarding it with all the bad stuff, it can heal itself. Just give it time.
A lot of digestive problems and gallbladder issues. And so when they came off those products, it cleared up. They did much better. All right, number two, fructose. Okay, you have high fructose corn syrup. You have the fructose in fruit. You have something called agave nectar as a sweetener. It's like 70% fructose. And even table sugar is half fructose and half glucose. Now the
fructose thing is pretty serious, companies like to market it as if it's not that big a deal. Oh, it's like sugar or whatever. No, it's not quite the same thing. It's not quite the same thing. There's so many studies on this, whether they look at the animals, right, where it's clearly shown to increase body fat and decrease physical activity. And this is with the same amount of calories. All they do is substitute the sugar, which we all know can make you get fat, with fructose. The total caloric intake stayed the same, but the mice got fatter and they got less active. So you're getting fatter and you're getting less active. You're not really sure why this is, but it definitely happens, right? So, I mean, it's crazy nowadays. The typical male is consuming like 15 to 23% of their calories from fructose, which is 3 to 4 times more than the max levels recommended by the American Heart Association. We all consume too much fructose, right? There's no doubt about that. I mean, I always tell people, right, if you need something sweet, just get real sugar. Your body's been dealing with that for a long period of time, evolutionary speaking. And even some of these little substitute things that sound too good to be true, they tend to be too good to be true, right? Agave nectar or whatever. Oh, it's not like sugar or fructose. I can have a ton of it. No, you cannot. You can't. You cannot. There's no free lunch. There's no free lunch, right? You can't just find some magical sugar substitute and go ham on it, right? That does not work.
Fructose is a very interesting sugar because it's not metabolized by all of your cells. It's only metabolized by your liver. So anytime you consume fructose, your liver has to deal with this sugar.
Think about that. Only your liver can deal with this stuff. It sounds even more dangerous now, right?
It is stuck to deal with breaking it down and metabolizing it. And this is why people that consume a lot of high fructose corn syrup, boy, they just develop a fatty liver, way more than if they were going to be consuming just glucose itself.
I mean, you see, this is the other problem, right? The high fatty liver disease, right? That's serious. And it's just like it sounds. It's just fat on your liver. That sounds disgusting. And it is disgusting and clearly not healthy. Because as I said at the beginning of the show, your impaired liver function is going to have a domino effect on multiple things. We're focused on weight loss here, right? And potentially muscle gain or muscle maintenance. But clearly, if your liver is not functioning properly, your ass ain't losing any fat. No matter how hard you bust your ass in the gym, no matter how clean the diet is. Well, I shouldn't say how clean, because eventually the clean-upness of your diet would fix your liver problems. So it is clearly very important. And you notice they're doing these comparisons with sugar. It's not like they're comparing fructose to something that's not known to make you fat if you consume too much of it, right?
And even people think that agave nectar is so healthy, but it's not, because it contains fructose. But here's the confusing thing. Fructose on the glycemic index is pretty low. It's like 19. Glucose is 100. Okay. So if you have a sugar that has half glucose and half fructose, it's going to be right in the middle, like about 74, 75-ish. But the point is that if you are just relying on the glycemic index, okay, that's your principle that you operate.
For those of you who don't know, the glycemic index is a numerical scale to measure how much the food is going to affect your insulin levels, essentially, right? Just think of it this way to keep it simple. Sugar is very high. Something like rice, sweet potato, a lot lower, right? So sugary things, candy bars, chocolate, obviously you consume a ton, you'll get what? Fat, exactly. What he's saying is that the fructose can be kind of misleading. Companies aren't stupid, right? They'll put half and half in there, and you may go, oh, wow, this is a low glycemic thing. It's not that bad. Yes, it is that bad. This is where that number, what's that age-old saying? There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. This is where the numbers could be not telling quite the truth exactly.
Right off of, and you're like, wow, it's low, I'm going to go ahead and eat it. And you don't understand that the liver has to metabolize that specific sugar. And indirectly, it creates a lot of problems, especially with insulin resistance. Then you're going to have more awareness.
Insulin resistance. That's how a lot of us get fat. When I was pre-diabetic, my insulin sensitivity sucked. Resting, that morning glucose level, not too good. I couldn't eat then the way I can eat now. And I've gone on vacation, indulged myself, eating what, like 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day? At least 4,000. And I tracked this. And I would lose a pound or two or maintain my weight. A couple years ago, if I did that, I'd just blow up on that vacation, right? Because my insulin sensitivity sucked.
awareness, and then you can actually do the right thing by avoiding too much fructose. But the point is that despite being low on the glycemic index, fructose is not a good sugar, especially for the liver, especially if you want to avoid getting a fatty liver. And one more point about this, especially when you're dealing with high fructose corn syrup, all that corn is GMO. And that gives you another level of toxicity like glyphosate, which is an herbicide that's not good for the liver.
So GMO, genetically modified organisms, and glyphosate is a pesticide, right? So just imagine squirting a little Roundup in your mouth. I'm exaggerating here, but not too much, right? You don't want food that has stuff in there. If you Google, you'll find stuff, say with Monsanto, for example, they've been sued, blah, blah, blah. And when some of these documents were looked into, you see some of the scientists saying, the Monsanto saying, we're not really sure how safe this kind of stuff is, right? It could be not, blah, 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 blah. So it's just best to avoid this kind of stuff, right? It's not natural or anything like that. Hey, shout out to Wizimana Angelique with a super chat. Thank you so much. I always appreciate super chats quite a bit. So I'll always stop the show for a super chat. Should I be worried about drinking my yummy soy milk or soy protein isolate as a whole different treat? If you're drinking that stuff regularly, Angelique, I would say yes, you should be worried. If it's just a treat, then no, it's not going to kill you or do much damage. But if you're consuming this stuff on a regular basis, I would say that's no bueno. No bueno at all. I mean, one of the things I noticed with like top athletes, and especially bodybuilders, no matter how much calories they consume, it's almost always solid food. They're not drinking their calories. They're eating. They'll sit there and they'll just devour thousands upon thousands of calories of solid food, right? Because it is the best. Like I said the other day, baby formula, the most genetically, the most studied man-made food item, right? And it's still inferior to mother's milk because there's so much we just don't know. So when it comes to eating the orange juice versus drinking the orange juice, that's better. Eating, drinking, instead of taking your vitamin C pill, it's always going to be better, right? So if it's just a treat, not a big deal. It's not going to kill you, right? I'll have my Applebee's spare ribs. Nothing healthy in that, right? But I'm not doing Applebee's spare ribs every night or once a week. It's a treat, right? So... and there are other things that are better to do than soy protein isolate. I prefer whey. Whey would be much better. Sometimes you even do casein. Casein, depends on how you want to pronounce it. That's a slower digesting carb, but whey post-workout is great. And sometimes pre-workout, if you can have a good pre-workout meal. And for those of you who don't know, the two most important meals of the day, pre-workout meal and your post-workout meal. If you could have all your calories around your workout, you would get closer to that dream body that you want. I don't care how good you look. Hopefully that answered your question.
Instead, use sugar alcohols like erythritol, xylitol. Use stevia, monk fruit. All right, number 3, vegetable fat.
Those are good sugar alternatives he just mentioned, stevia, etc. But again, don't do too much of that either, right? Too much of a good thing is eventually going to be bad. You just remember this logic. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. I mean, for short periods of time, yes, but not for extended periods of time. That's the key message here. You can cheat for a little bit, for a while, but eventually you got to get back on course. You're not 18 years old anymore, right? Those days are long gone.
Now, vegetable fats sound so healthy, don't they? I mean, they're just the fat of vegetables. Well, there's actually not much fat in vegetables, okay? If you look at salad, leafy greens, just look at the nutritional profile and you'll see that there's not much oil or fat in vegetables. So despite being called vegetable oils, it's really grain oils and it's like bean oils, as in soybean oil. And I'm talking about the corn oil, the soy oil, canola, cottonseed oil. These oils are very processed. They're very oxidating to your tissues.
Oxidative, that's putting stress on your body in layman's term, right? I mean, these things are really, really not good. I mean, there's so many things wrong with them. I mean, they're shown to do the weight gain. They can drowsiness, skin problems for you guys and ladies out there. digestive issues. There's some links to cancer as well. Yeah, I think even diabetes, I like this off the top of my head as well. There's no need to use these things. A better alternative is extra virgin olive oil. That's my go-to for cooking, extra virgin. You can also cook with coconut oil as well, but depending on how high the temperature gets, then you're more likely to need the extra virgin olive oil. So I just pretty much cook with extra virgin olive oil, right? And that has a host of health benefits as well. Forget just the cooking. Olive oil is great for a bunch of different health benefits.
Which means they create a lot of inflammation, a lot of inflammation.
When you have a lot of inflammation, you can forget about losing weight. You can forget about effectively building muscle or even maintaining muscle, right? Inflammation, and this is not the kind of inflammation you feel or you see. You don't go, oh, ouch, I'm inflamed. No, this is that deep down inside inflammation that you may not feel, and then you get frustrated. Why am I not losing weight? Or why am I getting fatter? I'm busting my ass in the gym. This could be why.
A very fragile oil that's omega-6. An average person in the US consumes about 70 pounds of this vegetable oil. I've kind of done a little switch.
70 pounds? God damn, I didn't even know that. Wow. I honestly did not know that. Wow, that's 70 pounds. You know how big a container that is? That's crazy. That may be the craziest statistic of this show today. I'm thinking
on these oils about, I don't know, 30 to 40 years ago, where they switched all of our saturated fats with unsaturated fats, unfortunately. So our membranes now are being built with these unsaturated fats, and it's creating a lot of problems with inflammation, and with that comes a lot of other issues. Not to mention GMO, okay? More glyphosate, which is Roundup Ready.
Again, GMO. You just don't want these pesticide things, right? I don't care what anybody wants to say. It's just common sense to me. If I grow some kind of food without pesticide, and then over here I grow some other kind of food with pesticide, just common sense tells me if I have an option, I will go with the without pesticides one. I don't need science to prove anything to me. I just use your common sense, right? Use your common sense and your critical thinking skills. Hey, Ego's daughter, thanks for the super chat. See what Ego's daughter has to say. So it's so crazy to be how high protein almonds are, which I love, but almond milk doesn't. It's mostly water. So am I better off eating whole almonds as opposed to mixing my protein shake with almond milk? Yeah, I know there's some years ago there was a scandal regarding almond milk, right? So I shouldn't say almost, several of these almond milks had no goddamn almonds in them, right? I think it was Environmental Working Group. So Environmental Working Group has sued companies about this nonsense. I believe they started some petition. The FDA made a bunch of these almond producing people redo their formulations or redo the marketing at any rate, right? So general rule of thumb, go organic. Secondly, check the stuff out. If you just Google, just spend a couple seconds effectively and Google the stuff. Google that brand. Just type in blank, 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 soy milk, bad or good, and you'll find stuff on there, right? Especially if you throw in EWG, or there's other websites that monitor these people. Because a lot of almond milk has no damn almonds in it. And by no almonds, either literally none or like 1%. They're just ripping you off. They're just ripping you off, straight up ripping you off. Almonds are super healthy. Just eat them, right? But don't go too crazy on the nuts, because nuts are very calorically dense items. You could get crazy munching on those suckers and hundreds of calories later, next thing you know, you're over 1,000, 2,000, whatever, right? So don't go too crazy on the nuts. Hopefully that answers your question. Good question. Good question.
In these products. So what you want to do is you want to consume a lot more omega-3 fatty acids, sardines, cod liver oil, salmon.
The healthy fat type things, right? Cod liver oil, salmon, etc. Salmonella is the healthy good fats. So this is the good fats now, right? Your avocados, etc.
Things like that. And just as an FYI, there was a meta-analysis with over 72 different studies that showed that there's no benefit from shifting from saturated fats to unsaturated fats.
That was surprising to me when I found that out. No benefits.
Zero benefits. In fact, there's a lot of
Zero
negative things
benefits.
that have occurred. All right, number 4.
I like saying that. Zero benefits. I like that.
Whey protein powder. Now think about what whey protein powder is. It's a protein in milk, and dairy, and it's highly concentrated to be extremely low fat, if not zero fat. Okay. And anytime you consume something that's refined out of the normal complex that nature has designed, it comes with a package. And so whey protein is inflammatory. It's a bit toxic to the liver. It increases inflammatory markers. And I remember long ago, before I had any awareness on health, I wanted to gain weight. Okay. This was in high school. And so what did I do? I consumed protein powder, and I started chowing that stuff down, and man, did I get sick, because not only.
So this is the first time I'm going to disagree with Dr. Berg here, right? So he talks about back in the day when he was in high school. So this is like 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, I remember when I was in high school. Protein powders made me sick back then too, but they sucked back then. They've gotten significantly better since then, right? So he's accurate in that a lot of these protein powders have a lot of garbage in them. But there's more healthy alternatives out there now. If you go to, say, a Whole Foods, you can find some clean versions, whether they're vegan or non-vegan. You know, I have one right here. Mount Capra. I don't know how visible this is, right? I recommend this one to my clients. And then there's another one as well that's goat protein. It's not a whey, although. So you can be, so another benefit of goat protein, the protein molecules are smaller. So it's more like what you get, say, mother's milk, right? Because a goat is a smaller animal instead of a cow. That's the logic in layman's terms. But this has no crazy things in there. It's grass-fed, non-GMO, gluten-free, no hormones, no chemicals, no soy, right? And then ingredients. Let's count them. Grass-fed goat whey protein, 1. Natural vanilla bean, 2. Stevia, 3. That's the other thing, you know, when you find healthy products, they don't have a list of ingredients. They'll have like a ingredient or 2 or 3, maybe 5, but they don't have a laundry list. And it's all stuff I can pronounce, right? You remember what I said earlier? Crazy ass chemical names in there. Those proteins don't bother me. They don't bother anybody I've recommended. I've never recommended, the only thing I've ever had complaints with, somebody say it doesn't taste good, right? Because their taste buds are, you know, eating so much processed food is not that sensitive. So they can't taste not so good to them. But for sure as hell, it is not unhealthy. And when I did research on whey protein, I guess this is where he's getting at, finding some instances where it can be toxic, quote unquote, it was for individuals that were not engaged in any kind of physical activity. Whey protein is not something you should just be drinking just for the hell of drinking it, right? Most people who are not fully inactive, you can just eat food. I only do that stuff either post-workout, just to get that instant protein in there. And again, that's just more from a logistical point of view, because it's been debunked where you need to hurry up and get your protein in post-workout. That doesn't really exist. It's only if you're in a fasted state, all right? But just logistically, you work out, you drink the shake, then you can eat again another 2 hours later. Versus if you eat 2 hours, then maybe you can't get in another meal 2 hours after that 2 hours. It's just a logistics thing, right? But it is not unhealthy to have high quality whey protein if you're working out. The other times I would use is pre-workout if I didn't have a normal pre-workout meal. It's like an emergency meal. Say you're about to run on the road, you know, because you've been thinking ahead, okay, I got to do this, 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 and this. And by the time you get back to eat a solid food, you know you're just not going to have enough time in the day to eat all the food that you need to eat for that day, right? Because you're tracking your calories because you watch this show and you know that's important. Just drink a shake. Get one of those little shaker cups, drink it, hold it up, and guzzle it down. Boom, you're done. Very portable, very easy. Because like I said multiple times, the number one thing people don't eat enough of is protein. It's difficult for a lot of people at first to eat enough protein, right? To get that approximately 1 gram per pound of body weight. It's difficult for most people. They don't come close to eating enough protein. This is, again, kind of to Angelique's question earlier, right? This is something you can do until you can eat solid food. I can go many days where I don't take protein shake. I just eat enough solid meals. right, to get enough protein. But I'm used to that now. For some of you, you're not used to that. So drink the shake, but drink a high quality shake. Do not go cheap on this stuff. Actually, don't go cheap on any supplements, right? Don't go cheap on any supplements. You will pay for it down the road with your health. I guarantee you will pay for this.
Not only was it filled with whey protein powder, it was filled with the next thing on the list, which is maltodextrin.
Note, mine does not have maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is bad. I don't have maltodextrin. I don't think I have anything in this house that has maltodextrin. I shouldn't say I think. I know I don't have anything in this house with maltodextrin. My ice cream cake sandwiches don't have it. They're organic. They're clean. All my sinful foods don't have it. Now, if I do some Applebee's spare ribs tonight as a cheat meal, it probably has it in there, that damn sauce. I'm sure it has a ton of unhealthy things in there. But I eat healthy most of the time, so I'm pretty sure my liver is good. It's great in the labs when I do the lab work, so my body will process it fine, and I will be good, right? That 80-20 rule. I tend to follow the 90-10 rule, you could say.
So when you consume protein, make sure you consume it with the fat that's nature has packaged that protein with. But maltodextrin, which is number 5, is in so many foods. It's crazy. It's in all the protein powders as the first ingredient sometimes.
It's not in all the protein powders. It is not. I just showed you. It's not in mine. Dr. Berg needs to come and see me, obviously. He needs to have a chat with Dr. Berg. Everybody can't know everything, so giving him a pass on that. But if he watches this show, if you want to watch the show, Dr. Berg, or watch a recording of this, Mount Capra, you can use that one, right? The maltodextrin is definitely bad. It's terrible, right? It's no bueno. It has no nutritional value, essentially, right? So it is bad. There's no bueno good about it. It's just some stupid, simple carb that they use to get in there to make stuff taste good, right? But it's definitely not good for you. I agree with him 100% on that.
Here's the problem with maltodextrin. It's a synthesized or synthetic sugar. And
the key word there is synthetic. Synthetic, as in not natural. What did I say earlier? If you're going to do bad, do the natural bad sugar. I said this on a show before, right? See, if you got a choice between the crappy soda, the diet soda, I call it crappy, diet soda and real soda, they're both bad. Go with the real soda. You know why? Because it has sugar in it. It's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's terrible, but it's better than diet soda. There's a study I saw years ago which showed that with diet soda, ladies had a significantly increased risk of stroke. They didn't know why this was the case, but it's synthetic. It's just like years ago, I used to the Splendor when I was losing weight, right? I was getting off the sugar. And I remember I always used to have some weird little headache sometime on the left side of my head. And I thought, oh, it's because I'm not drinking my coffee. And I was driving, listening to a podcast, and it was Ben Greenfield Fitness. You need to try to interview that guy. And they talk about one of the side effects because it's not man-made. You remember back in the day, they used to advertise Splendor as made from sugar. Then they got challenged and they had to stop doing that because it's not made from it. It's a man-made molecule. It does not occur in nature. It's not natural. Anybody doesn't know what the hell to do with this damn thing, right? So don't be a guinea pig for these people. Do not.
And it is.
Oh, wait. I'm missing super chats. Hold up. Hey, thanks for the super text, Skincare Do's and Don'ts. So Skincare Do's and Don'ts says, what are some good brands for supplements? Thorne is a great brand for supplements. I love Thorne. They're not a, what do you call it? They're not paying me to say that, right? But I should probably start asking these companies, what do you guys think I should? Thorne is great in all seriousness. They have great, they're manufactured here in the US. I forget what there's some kind of certification they have. Like say you're a pro athlete or Olympic athlete, you can safely take their stuff without worrying about some weird failing some drug test. And they have actual real customer service. You can actually pick up the phone and call. I've spoken to them before. Real people. The Mount Capra, that's another good brand. It's a surprise question. What's another really good brand off the top of my head? Thorne for sure. Yes, Thorne. Thorne. Mount Capra, CAPRA. I'll put this stuff in the show notes, all right? I keep saying I'm going to put this stuff in the show notes, but I don't always do that. I'm going to have to go back through old shows and put stuff in the show notes. Yeah, maybe I should just have a set of things I recommend. Let me do that. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm just going to put a set of things I recommend in and copy paste them to every show. Problem solved. It's too much stuff on my plate to do. So I will do that after this show. I'll go look through my supplement, my pantry of stuff, right? I'm actually looking at the pantry from here. What else can I see from here? For now, we'll go with Thorn and Mount Capra for sure. But Thorn, you can get a lot of. I basically check Thorn first, and if I can't find Thorn, then I go seek elsewhere, right? So very good question. Very good question. I should probably, somebody had asked me to do a show on something like that. Yeah, somebody had. Thank you so much for this. A super big super chat. No pun intended. The positive therapist. Again, I know this is hard-earned money for you guys, so I appreciate every single dollar, right? I really, really, really do. Do you recommend drinking the protein shake before and after your workouts? I do not recommend back-to-back shakes. That can be rough on the tummy in the sense that you may get gassy. You may get gassy. I mean, you can experiment, right? But I would say the general rule of thumb would be the post-workout meal, the shake. And again, it's just for convenience because it's been debunked that you need to hurry up and get your protein in, right? It doesn't really work that way unless you're fasted. The study, so you don't really need it. But it's convenient just because you're right there. You just finished working out. You have your shaker cup, pour water in there, water, not some kind of drink. Add the shake, guzzle, boom. Hour and a half later, depending on how liquid you made the shake, you can eat a solid meal, or say 2 hours later. Now, if you finish late, working out late, and you just have time to eat dinner and then go to bed, then don't bother with the shake, right? The other time to use a protein shake, like I said, an emergency meal, pre-workout, 15 to 30 minutes before, if you didn't get to do a pre-workout meal. And you should do a pre-workout meal. In my interview with that NFL linebacker, Tevon Coney, is one of the earlier YouTube videos I ever did. I think it's like NFL linebacker on weight loss. There's a part in there where he says, these guys have ridiculous genetics, these men and these women, these elite athletes. And he essentially said he was doing all kind of nonsense, but still looked like a Greek god, right? Huge ass shoulders, 6-pack abs, the chest, the works. Put on some ridiculous amount of muscle in high school in like a couple of months, right? Anyway, so this guy is like a pro now, right? And he says when he finally started eating better, eating right, doing things like pre-workout meals, because before he never used to have a pre-game meal. Think how crazy this is. You're going to play football, American football, for like 3 hours, and this dude would just roll out there and just play. Must be nice to have those kind of genetics, right? You and I would be exhausted just running around for 3 hours without having to hit anybody or be hit by anybody. So even at the elite athlete level, that stuff helps, is what I'm trying to point out to you, right? Very good question. Thanks for that.
Higher than glucose on the glycemic index, okay? It ranges between 110 to 100 and I think 19. It's just off the scale. So you're consuming something that is way worse than sugar for your.
Way worse than sugar. Way worse than sugar. You don't want to be having to do this, what you see on the screen here. You always be pricking yourself, right? You don't want that. Don't want to be diabetic. Don't want that.
Blood sugars, for your pancreas, for your weight, for your liver. And maltodextrin is put in a lot of vitamins, okay? It's used as a filler. It's used as a drying agent for oils. It's hidden in a lot of so-called keto-friendly foods, which I'm going to be doing a lot of education about. But basically, it makes your liver fattier. And before I forget, I was going to mention they make maltodextrin from corn, wheat, rice, potato, tapioca. And so sometimes it's going to be from GMO ingredients, but you want to avoid it. They even use it in post-workout type gels. It's in Splendor.
There you go, the damn Splendor. I tell you, man, that Splendor used to mess with me. Mess with my head, man. The damn Splendor. That goddamn Splendor.
It's in puddings. It's in protein bars. It's in a lot of different things. All right, number 6. aflatoxins. So you want to stop consuming aflatoxins. Now, what is an aflatoxin? Well, it's a toxin from a certain fungus, which is carcinogenic to your liver. So your liver does not like this. And
Carcinogenic means cancer causing. No bueno.
you're primarily going to find it in peanuts and corn, okay? And especially if it's in a moist human environment. Now, if you consume peanuts or peanut butter, the best way to make sure you don't get the aflatoxin is by consuming Valencian peanuts. Valencia peanuts are a lot drier, and they're usually not going to have aflatoxins, especially if you get organic Valencia peanut butter.
Notice he said, especially if you get organic, blah, blah, blah. Notice that, right? So again, right, organic things, the prices have come down quite a bit. The only things I can think of off the top of my head that are still expensive that are organic is beef and seafood. Everything else is pretty affordable, right? It's pretty affordable. I don't know the last time when people said, this stuff is too expensive. You go look at Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Sprouts, whatever. There's a lot of competition now. Walmart has an organic section, Publix, Kroger, etc. There's a ton of organic stuff out there now. You don't have any excuses anymore.
Now, of course, if you've been watching my videos, you're not going to be consuming corn, but corn is in a lot of products, so you're going to have to watch that as well. And number 7, okay, is MSG, monosodium glutamate. It's in a lot of different forms.
Good old MSG. You guys might remember this from Chinese food back in the day, right? Good old MSG. It's used to tenderize meat. And guess what this is doing to your insides? Tenderizing you on the inside.
Including modified food starch. But you really want to start reading the ingredients because they put this in pork rinds. It's in so many foods as a flavor enhancer.
Yes. Things to make, so one of the tricks manufacturers do, right? You'll see no sugar or no this, but whatever the blank they've removed, they've added something else to make it taste good. Whether it's your Maltodextrin or your MSG. So when you see no fat, zero sugar, you should say to yourself, these people are trying to trick me. There's always a catch. My ice cream cake sandwiches that I eat, they have sugar in them. Because if they didn't have sugar, they'd have some other garbage in there, right? You cannot have your cake and eat it too. I can't emphasize this enough. When you see something that says it's magical, it has no fat, it has no sugar, you can just eat this forever. That's nonsense. Just think about it. Think about this. If such a food exists, it would be on CNN, Fox News. Everybody would know about it. Your parents would know about it. Everybody, your brother, your sister, your coworkers, your boss, the preacher, everybody would eat this thing. It would be the perfect food. It doesn't exist. Not yet.
They use it in all the fast food restaurants to enhance the flavor because if it wasn't in there, you wouldn't eat as much. But MSG causes you to eat more of it. It's definitely in Chinese food. And so it's a lot of sodium that's hidden. It's not really salty, but you're going to get fluid retention as well.
Yes. I was about to say fluid retention. So, I like sushi. So what I get is the low sodium version, no MSG version of the soy sauce, right? Just to minimize all this kind of stuff.
After you consume it. But that's not the big problem. The big problem is toxic to your liver. And it's even in like things like cottage cheese, if you're getting like commercial cottage cheese. But
again, commercial cottage cheese versus some organic cottage cheese, right? Again, you see the pattern here, right? You see it in today's video and in my previous shows and again in my future shows, right? I will always harp on this over and over and over again. You got to avoid this stuff, right? Because you remember the beginning of the show that I pointed, right? If your liver is not operating effectively, it will inhibit or downright stop your weight loss, right? Or if you're trying to gain muscle, it's going to mess with that too. One of the reasons my transformation was so good when I started transforming a couple of years ago is I did everything my coach told me to do, and I did all this extra stuff. And he agreed. He's like, man, all this other stuff you're doing is making a difference. Everything was pure. I was doing everything like a little monk, right? 100% good. 100% good.
I would just recommend just start reading the ingredients. So many of my patients, when I was in practice, after they complained of being sick, I just asked them, when did you start being sick? And what did you eat just before that? And there was usually some ingredient on this list that they consumed that they weren't aware, they didn't make the connection. Now, what about red meat? Is red meat bad for the liver?
Well, before we go to that, right? But that's on the MSG, because I got a thing for MSG. It also interferes with leptin. What's leptin? It's a hormone, right? Now, it's produced by the body to tell the brain that you're full, that you're satiated. In other words, to stop shoving food in your mouth. So when that's dysregulated, what's going to happen? You keep shoving food in your mouth. You know, it's probably not the accident that the most I've ever been eating in my life is Chinese food. I love Chinese food, right? Back in the day when it had a ton of MSG. And I would eat a whole plate full of fried rice. I mean, pile up. Add the shrimp, add extra shrimp or beef or whatever. I'm actually thinking maybe I should have a cheat meal or some Chinese food tonight. But anyway, you devour that stuff, tons of it, and then 2 hours later be hungry again. Perhaps this is what was happening. The leptin was being screwed up. This literally just crossed my mind now, right? It also alerts your body, your brain, when you're storing excess fat, right? Triggering your body to release the fat instead of storing more. So that's another problem. It could mess that up as well. Anytime you mess hormones up, right, which is what crazy chemicals can do, things are going to happen. And it's the worst part, you won't see it, you won't feel it. It's just happening. But the scale won't go the right way. Those pants still will feel too tight, or the dress, or the whatever, right? The bra bulge ain't going away. This is why. You're there cranking out the reps on your chest and your chest ain't growing. I'm just saying, right? So, you know, it just messes a lot of stuff up, right? And here's a crazy thing, right? When they're doing studies with the rats, they will inject them with MSG to cause weight gain. Think about that. They will inject these rats with MSG to cause weight gain because they know what it does to them. So what the hell do you think it's doing to you? It's doing the same thing to you. A newborn rat, right? They only have to inject it for 5 days for it to become not only obese, but diabetic. Think of it. The rat is born, they pump it full of MSG. 5 days later, it's obese and it's diabetic. And that's not going to happen to a human in 5 days, but 5 years, 10 years, who knows? No bueno again, no bueno.
Well, the answer is if you're consuming grass-fed red meat, it's not bad for the liver unless you have a problem with iron, okay? The thing about iron is that our bodies are not designed to get rid of iron easily. And too much iron can be very toxic to the liver and even cause cirrhosis. And of course, red meat is high in iron. So if you...
Cirrhosis is just damaging the liver, right? Again, the good news is your liver can recover. So, I mean, for those of you who know you've screwed things up, don't worry, your liver will recover.
Have that problem, then you're probably going to have to avoid red meat. But for most people that don't have a problem with that, red meat is not going to be a problem for your liver.
Note early he said grass-fed, right? This is very important because when they've looked at those cows that grow up eating grain and all this other kind of nonsense, as an example, I remember seeing this years ago in a study, the ratio of the fats of the omega-3s, omega-6s, they're reversed. Whereas with a grass-fed cow, the ratio is almost the same as that as like wild-caught salmon. That's not an accident. The cow on land, the fat is a similar ratio to the fish swimming out in the ocean. When you feed the cow stuff it's not meant to be feeding, and those ratios get all screwed up again. That's not surprising, right? So, organic, grass-fed, free-range, wild-caught, all these terms is what you should see on your food, whether it's seafood, eggs, chicken, beef, whatever, right? You're vegan, get your organic vegetables, right? Just try to stay clean, avoid processed stuff, unless it's a cheat meal or you're eating out. But don't fill up your pantry or your fridge with that crap because you're just going to eat it.
It's quality. Out of all the foods that are good for the liver, the cruciferous family of vegetables are the best thing for the liver. So that would be like arugula, the kale, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts. So
I eat my veggies every day. Veggies are great. Veggies are great.
You definitely want to consume those on a regular basis. Now that you have this.
So I thought it was a pretty good thing to show you guys, right? Figured it was pretty good. So I'm going to drop the link to the show.
The next
I think it's
video that
already
I'm going to
been
recommend.
dropped actually already by the mods. I'm going to drop it again so you guys can call in if you'd like. I know there's a whole bunch of questions here in the comments. I didn't want to keep, try to interrupt the show too much, but I'll always stop for super chats, right? Show respect to the super chat. So I'm scrolling back through things. Now, any of you guys want to call in, feel free to call in. Don't be shy. You don't have to cam up if you don't like, right? But I know there's a bunch of questions in here. I'm curious to get to those. So what do you guys think of the show, this information? I know some of it I did not know before. So, yeah. So see you guys talking a lot about Nollywood and Africa. Okay. Hello again, Craig. Hello, Tamika. I missed when you came in. This is a good point. Tamika says, I've seen where they use cola to clear tubes like trachomatids. I'm probably messing up that pronunciation. To dissolve thick mucus, melts it away like butter. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So when you drink that stuff, man, rest assured it's doing something to the inside. It's not like your cola is special, right? Your cola, when you drink it, doesn't go, oh wow, I'm in a human body. I'm not gonna do my dissolving stuff. Yeah. No bueno. No bueno again. Can't. Yeah. No good on that stuff. Okay, that was a very good comment. Very good comment. Hello, Genesis One. Welcome to the show. I've not seen you here before, so welcome to the show, Genesis One. Genesis One says, or make almond milk yourself. Yeah. Yeah, you could. You could try that. That is true. Yes, this is true. Whey protein used to be very chalky back in the day. I despised the taste then. Skincare dudes, yeah, they've gotten a lot better with the taste, and it can be a lot healthier. But he's right, the garbage ones, you want to avoid those. Hello, B. Pauly. Dr. Bird came up laughing. LMAO. Hey, B. Pauly, you said you'd call in one of these days, man. Come on. Actually, not one of these days. A couple shows ago, you said you'd call in on the next show, but you still haven't called in yet. Come on, B. Pauly. Get on the show. Okay, so we got questions again about the protein. So generally, you want 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? Just keeping it simple. Up to, say, 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. Why up to 1.2? If you're really working out hard or you're an older person, you'll want to get up to the 1.2, right? And if somebody is dieting, they may want to go higher than that because protein is satiating. Because think about it. If you're here eating your total calories and you start cutting, you're cutting carbs, protein, fat. After a while, you don't want to be starving, right? So from a ratio point of view, you'll increase the protein because it's more satiating. So that's, again, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Let's see. Do I use the grams? Yes, grams is the key. So basically, Prometheus, whatever you weigh, eat that in protein. Basically, get like MyFitnessPal or some other kind of tracking software. MyFitnessPal, I recommend that. It's probably the biggest one out there. Get that and track. Breakfast, lunch, dinners, 3 meals right there. Throwing a fort. Right? And just gradually build your way up. Don't go from 0 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight overnight. It's going to be a shock to your system. Plus, you may just get fat, right? Unless you're already working out, that's different. But just slowly increase it, I would say. Just slowly increase it, right? Slowly increase it. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yes, this is smart. Skincare do's and don'ts. Throwing out everything and replacing it with all organic products after watching the show. Yes. Just give it away. Give it away. There's some people who will definitely be happy to have this and they need to have this. But like I said, the prices for organic have gone on quite a bit, especially since Amazon bought Whole Foods. It was already trending that way because of competition. Like I say, you know, your Walmart, all these other companies are involved. You can buy stuff online now as well. Prices have been coming down. Yeah, this was a good documentary, Food Inc. After watching Food Inc., I switched over to all organic, cage-free, and grass-fed beef. Yep, made a difference. I remember there's a part in that documentary where there's a guy, you start with the star of the show, this farmer, and he's outside on grass in the open, right, with like a table, and they're out there, they're killing the chicken and, you know, plucking the feathers and all this other kind of stuff. And I think the FDA came out to shut him down temporarily, but when they did the testing, whatever parts per million or whatever the bugs are, his was super duper low, way lower than the big chicken producing plants where they have to use chlorine and all this other disinfectant type stuff to keep things. He's just out in the open. Because if you think about it, right, your grandparents, great grandparents, when they got access to meat, it was just out in the open like that. They weren't getting sick. You weren't having all these recalls for salmonella or all these kinds of things. So very counterintuitive, but true. Counterintuitive, but true. Yeah, this is the way to go. Seek slowly but surely we will make changes. That's it. Slow and steady wins the race, man. Slow and steady wins the race. I went from soda to orange juice to like Gatorade, Powerade. No, I hated Gatorade. Powerade. I think it was Powerade. Actually, there's some Gatorade flavors that tasted okay, but Powerade, I think it was the flavored water to water. I didn't just go cold turkey from soda to water or oranges to water. You know, back then I'd have to be dying of thirst to drink water, to be honest. So just work your way down. There's so many flavored water type options nowadays that it's going to be better than your sodas, right? So just do that. Just do that. Yes, I agree, Sika Metis. Be polycam up. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Sika Metis, you can call in yourself too, right? Yeah. Sika Metis again with the 20 pounds in 2 months. Yeah, you asked us the other day, right? I mean, hey, if you're losing 2 pounds per week, that's 16. That'd be pretty good, right? It's a lot harder than you think, you know. Okay, when you first start, you start. But how about just losing it in 3 months? Is that third month going to kill you? It's not, right? It's not going to kill you. If you lose 6 pounds per month, 3 months, that's 18 pounds. You almost need 20 pounds, right? Because you don't want to set yourself for failure. Go like, oh man, after 2 months, I've only lost 10 pounds. Because if you think about it, right, if you do that for the next 2 months, that'd be 20 pounds. Usually you notice a big difference 20 pounds down, right? And then if you do that another 2 months, that's 30 pounds now. So in 6 months, you're at 30 pounds, right? 8 months, you're at 40 pounds. If I could tell you today, guarantee, promise you that you could lose 40 pounds in that time, you'd take this without hesitation, right? So don't get hung up on this whole 2 month thing, right? Yeah. That's actually not a lot of protein. It may be to you at first because of how you're used to eating, but yeah, 1 gram per pound is not a lot for me. Definitely when I was bulking up and stuff, I was doing that at least. And I've definitely done more than that for sure. Again, when leaning out as well. So can you, skincare do's and don'ts ask, can you put those 7 ingredient no-nos in the show notes, please? Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. So I got to add just a list of general supplements that I take in there, the brands I recommend and what things I recommend, I should say. And this is another good idea as well, to put that in the show notes. That's a good idea. The first one, I can just keep copying and pasting it all over the place, actually. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yaya Suber. Yes, that is it. NSF. Thank you, Yaya Suber. Good looking out, my man. That is a certification. Yeah, Thorne has this. Thorne has this. Don't go cheap on your supplements. You may seem like, oh man, that stuff is too expensive, but long term, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay one way or another. Except if you pay on the back end when you're unhealthy, you're gonna be suffering on top of it. Whereas if you pay now, you won't be suffering. So I'd rather pay today. Yeah. there you go. Like I said, Google can always count on Google. Thanks, yeah. Just kind of trying to go off memory there. Yeah. So I'm going to do that as well. I put cucumbers and mint in my water. The mint I've heard of, not heard of cucumbers. Okay. I could kind of see that. The mint for sure, I could see that with ice, right? Of course, you can add some alcohol to that too. The cucumbers, actually, no, maybe I've seen it. I definitely never tried it, but I think I've seen it now that you mention that. Okay. Maybe I'll try that. The mint for sure I know tastes good, right? I'll try this. Okay. Oh yeah, Tamika. Always Tamika with the jokes. You're right. I would be a G if I went straight from soda to water, skipping out the intermediate things. You're right. Yeah, but I was not that hardcore, unfortunately. Even I wasn't that hardcore. Positive Therapist says, great show. I learned something new, which is good. It was very insightful. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, the biggest surprise, like I've said to you guys before, but some of you are new, the biggest surprise this whole YouTube thing is every show I've prepared for, I've learned new things. Every single show. A lot of it is jogging my memory. Like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if you stick your finger in the light in the socket, you'll get electrocuted, but you don't remember why or how that stuff works. And then you read up on it for a show and you're, oh, yeah, that's how it works. I've definitely had a lot of that, but definitely some things I've learned that I did not know before. No one can know everything. That's an impossibility. So are any of you guys going to call in? Everybody's so shy. Everybody's so shy. I'm going to drop the link again just in case. I don't think I've missed any questions. There's a lot of statements in here, but have I missed anybody's questions? I want to make sure I don't miss any questions in here. If I did, just dump it again below. But I don't think I've missed anybody's questions. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. I want to respect your questions. Yeah. Don't think. I did miss one. Here you go. Craig asks, how do you know when your liver is function 100? Lab work, Craig, lab work. The AST, ALT. So scale on your labs, it will have a range. You just need to be within the range. Then it's doing well. So, and if it's not doing well, you'll definitely have certain weird ass symptoms as well, right? Hey, we have a caller. Seek Amitus. Welcome to the show, Seek. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, and you?
Doing fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
Cool.
I wanted clarification. I think I heard in the beginning of the video that he said the liver helps with blood clots. Is that right?
I don't recall hearing that, to be honest. Okay. And I don't know that it does help with blood clots.
Okay.
It would not surprise me if your liver is linked to blood clots, to be honest. That would not surprise because it's literally linked to all your metabolism as a world, right? In your body.
Yeah.
Let me do this really fast. Actually, say if you have liver cirrhosis, it can be bad for blood clots. That makes sense. So if so in 10 to 25% of patients with liver cirrhosis, they have issues with clotting. Okay. So I guess you could argue, I'm sure I can infer a healthy liver is going to do the opposite, right? Yeah, again, the human body is so complicated, everything is working together. Yeah, when stuff is not functioning properly, you know, that's no surprise there. No surprise there. So, but like as answering Craig's question, when you do labs, it will let you know when you're in range. You know, for male and female, there's ranges for the liver in there, right? So yeah. Interesting.
Okay. And I have another question.
Yeah.
What type of protein do you use? What protein powder do you use?
So this was one I was showing earlier. Let me switch back from Googling. This is one of them that I use. Make the camera focus. Mount Capra Clean Whey Protein, and they have another one. It's not a whey. Let me bring that one up as well while I talk to you. Let's go into my Amazon account. Should be able to pull that up. It's the same brand, Mount Capra. But I try to get most of my protein from real food, solid food. Low-fat sources usually. Like, say, I don't like skinless breast, but if you can stomach that, that's great. Or breast in general, because, again, it's low-fat. Skinless thighs are good. Shrimp, whitefish, grass-fed beef, because, again, it's leaner. It's a leaner cut of beef. I do like chicken, I guess, like every other black person. Chicken, right? But I grill or I bake my chicken rather. Don't really do fried chickens anymore. I mean, every once in a blue moon, I'll do something like KFC or something. But like the last 1 or 2 times I tried it, it wasn't as good as I recall. So I felt like I was wasting my cheap calories on the damn KFC. But yeah, because the typical problem is this: you don't get enough protein. But then when you get enough, you get too much fat, right? That's usually the problem. People get too much fat. So it is better for you to shoot for lean sources of protein, right? And again, if you're not tracking, you're just guessing. You're just making wild ass guess, right? It'd be like if you just turn on your camera, you do some settings and you're like, yeah, let's reset everything. And you don't remember what you did. You spend all this time monitoring, checking, and then you don't keep track. You wouldn't do that. Similarly, you don't want to not track what you're doing. Because if it works, you don't even know why it worked. If it doesn't work, you don't know that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Good question.
Okay. And I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
What would you consider like the number one food to get that protein intake?
Number one food in terms of like bang per ounce, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, bang per ounce. Well, it's gonna be chicken most likely because the beef can get you there, but again with the fat. So most likely, I would say chicken breast. Yeah, chicken breast. Chicken breast. There's a reason bodybuilders all over the world are always doing this chicken breast business, right? Because it is very high in protein and generally low in fat. You know, it's that good part, quote unquote, good part of the chicken. But as you know, I'm a big fan of it's got to be realistic, right? If I can't see myself eating that thing, whatever it is, on and on and on, I'm not going to bother with it. So the only time I've loved chicken breast is when my mother would cook the chicken breast. And then even when it went in the fridge and got warm, it would be good. And I followed her directions to the letter and I can't recreate it. So I gave up my chicken breast. I did everything she told me to do. The same jerk seasoning, the this, to that, blah, 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 blah. But thighs, you cannot screw up thighs. When I do my meal prep on the weekends, I cook all the thighs or my drumsticks, or I do leg quarters, the thigh and the drumstick. When I heat those bad boys up, it tastes almost just as good as when it came fresh out of the oven. So I go with that. But the breasts can't do it. Can't do it. Okay. So for me, it's the skinless thighs because it's low fat and it has a ton of protein and it's easy to eat. You can eat a ton of it, right? Because it's filling, but not super filling, right? It's not like eating a steak, for example, which would have a lot more filling. Good, very good question. Yeah. Very good question. So it sounds like you do not get enough protein.
No, not at all. No, I don't.
Do you track your foods? First question.
No, I need to start back tracking what I eat. Yeah.
Yeah. Recommend MyFitnessPal. Again, they don't pay me, but it's super popular. And when you search for food, try to find the one with the green check mark because those have been verified. But I mean, even when they're not, 99% of them is going to be accurate for most regular things. And the app has gotten a lot better now where you can scan barcode things and anything you type in before, you can swipe right for it to load it again. Because back in the day, these apps used to be a pain in the ass. You'd have to keep entering things all over again. So now, say you do breakfast. Most people eat the same things all the time, even though they think they don't. They do. So let's say you do, I don't know, egg whites for breakfast or bacon and eggs or whatever. So you did that today. Tomorrow morning, you can just simply swipe right and load it. Or you could click add food and you'll find all the things you usually have for breakfast to pick them. So it's not time consuming to do this. The first couple times you add food for meals, yes, but after that it's easy, very easy to do.
Okay.
Right, very easy. Because I'm sure you'll be shocked how little protein you eat. Yeah, I've never met anybody that ate enough protein. I mean, unless they're already doing this stuff for a while. But in terms of clients, no, not met anybody. They're always under eating drastically when it comes to the protein. So good question.
Thank
So yeah, you don't have like a limit on the questions. You can ask more.
Yeah, I really need to start eating enough protein. So I'm gonna work my way up to that number.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, for most people, 1 gram per pound is good enough. I mean, when you get into more, whether you're dieting hardcore at that time or you're trying to build more muscle, you want a lot more things, then you can do more than that. Like generally up to like say 1.2 as an extra buffer to be safe. That's generally what I shoot for, like 1.2.
Okay.
So yeah, you definitely want enough protein. You definitely want enough protein. Definitely want enough protein. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. You have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, feel free to call back in anytime with questions or comments for that matter. Yeah, and thanks for tuning into the show as well.
All right.
Thanks. All right. So Tamika said, Craig, answering Craig's question about tests. I know that we administer test labs to check functionality. The main ones are LFTs, liver function tests. So usually, correct me if I'm wrong, Tamika, but that would be, you'd only do such a test when from a regular labs, the ALT and AST numbers are through the roof, right? Then you go into liver function tests, I'm guessing. But the basic labs would be enough to say, oh, yeah, things are good or not so good, and they monitor it for a while. But if it's sky high, they may want to go straight to the liver function test. So let's see. Yeah. Here's another thing. Positive therapy response with high fructose corn syrup is worse than sugar. That is true. When kids consume too much of it, they display ADHD symptoms. And those who have ADHD, their symptoms becomes heightened. Yes, this is true. I remember there was a kid with his mom, and I don't know, if you stepped in the room with this kid, within minutes, he'd be bouncing off the walls, trying to like bounce through the windows or whatever. And at the time I was getting raw milk from a farmer, and this was making my transformation healthy. Told her about that stuff. She started getting milk from the same farmer and changed the kid's diet. And, after that, if you saw that kid in the room, you'd have to pay close attention to him to figure out something was wrong with that kid. Whereas before, it would be so obvious. You don't need any medical background. You just see the kid and something is off. After that, you'd have to pay close attention. If you just saw him amongst other kids, it'd be very difficult for you to perceive something else. So that can have a tremendous impact on people. Tremendous impact, right? It's the best way I think I can explain to people, imagine your body is a vessel, right? So I got my kombucha here. So let's say this is me. Maybe this is you. You got this big container. So you can take a lot of garbage inside of you, and I can take less. So eventually when I fill up with garbage and it overflows, bad stuff happens. So maybe you can take more. Kind of like those people who smoke and don't get lung cancer, or they get it much later in life. But if you're over here, you got to be more careful, let's say. More careful. Let's see, what other comments we got here? Yes, this is true. With MyFitnessPal, you can even scan your meal. Yes. Download an app now. Yes, right now. There you go. Once you find this thing is useful for you, you can upgrade to the paid version, but you don't have to. The free one is still pretty good. Wizimana says, my favorite protein is plant-based vegan smart all-in-one shake. The vanilla flavor doesn't have that stinky odor some proteins have, and love it. Yes. Yeah, the safest flavor to go with for protein shake is vanilla. I don't know why this is. Like chocolate, man. I have a chocolate shake, the double bonded protein. I'm reading it from here. I do have 20/12 vision, so I can read very far. I can see all the way in my pantry from here. The Malt Capra double bonded protein. There's a chocolate flavor and a vanilla flavor. The vanilla is the best, but the chocolate one tastes good as well. Yeah. Let's see what else we got there going. Yes, vanilla or vanilla bean. This is true. Vanilla or vanilla bean. Yes, that is correct. Let me go and show you guys what it looks like. Because I showed you what the whey version looks like, right? Mount Capra. Since 1928. This is when this company has been around. Long time. I should start just having my Amazon account up when I do these shows, since I'm always needing to go in there to show you guys stuff. So let's see, share screen. Google Chrome would like to record this computer's screen. Grant access. Sure. Okay. Click tab. We scroll up. No, we got Amazon Mount Capra. There we go. Bam! Only 6 left in stock. So this company is not a huge company, and they can actually run out of stock. I've had this happen before. You can go like some auto-order shipment from them to prevent this. And as you notice, the stuff is not cheap. $62, not cheap. But yes, it is well worth it, in my opinion. And it actually tastes good. Let's see if we can zoom in on the ingredients here. Ingredients: goat milk protein, natural vanilla flavor, guar gum, xanthan gum. Those are thickeners, and stevia for the sugar, right? It's in Washington, state of Washington. It's made in the USA, and they've been around a pretty long time. And it's, like I said, it's goat milk, so the proteins are smaller, so it's supposed to be more bioavailable and easily digestible. I mean, not in the swallowing it, but by, you know, your body compared to the proteins of cows, because goats is a smaller animal, kind of like the way humans are a lot smaller than goats. That's the logic there. That's the rationale there. So, yeah, you cannot put the price on your health, is the way I look at it, right? So, very good question there on that stuff. And Thorn, well, actually, I should probably just show you the Thorn as well, right? Although that's easy enough. I know Yaya had Googled it, so let's go to here. Let's see Thorn. Thorn is a pretty good multivitamin. Excellent multivitamin. Forget good. The AM PM, it's pretty good. Again, it's not cheap, but it's at an AM and a PM, right? Very high quality stuff. Very high quality stuff. Let's say for the elite athletes and all of us. Yeah, like we're saying earlier, that NSF certification. Dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, no artificial flavors. You remember Dr. Berg was talking about in vitamins because they have all sorts of garbage in them. This is true. This doesn't have any garbage in it, right? So again, you know, you're paying for that sort of stuff, right? Let's see. So, hypermalose derived from cellulose capsule, microcrystalline cellulose, calcium lauryl, silicon dioxide. So no maltodextrin in here. Now, of course, to make something, you still have to have something in there, right? But yeah, I doubt you're going to find anything cleaner than this, as an example. Very high quality company. Highly recommend them. Hopefully one day they sponsor me. That would be great. Very good question there. Good question here from Seek. What does it mean when the company slaps a sports label on a protein powder? It usually means nothing. It means nothing. You know what's even worse, Seek, is natural. Right? When you say natural, you know what's natural? Poop is natural. Tar is natural. There's a ton of bad things out there that are natural. So when they say natural, that doesn't mean diddly squat, right? Does not mean diddly squat. Unfortunately, it does not mean diddly squat. Yeah, it's just a way to trick you, to be honest. You have to take that product, Seek, and look at it. Like Dr. Berg said, you got to read the label, right? There's no getting around this. There's no getting around this. It's in your best interest to read the label. You got to read the label. And once you figure this stuff out, you're good to go. But I'm going to make it easier for you by putting a bunch of stuff in the show notes. And I'll just keep copy and pasting that for each show. So, you know, it'll be easy for you guys and for me, for that matter, to be honest. Yes, most great point to taking right. Most people don't take their vitamins. Yeah, you know, so many people have so many little deficiencies, vitamin D, magnesium, this, that. And they're busting their ass trying to lose weight or build muscle, and they're just swimming upstream. They're literally swimming upstream. They don't know. They don't realize, man, hello needs Watts. Salute. Now you're good. You're good. So yeah, there's yes, LOL, natural poop. Yes, poop is natural. You know, I remember hearing an interview with a guy worked at one of those, I forget what the factories would be called, where they process all the garbage, like sewage and whatnot. And he said the number one thing they see come through that they can tell what it is a pill. And the number one pill they see is Centrum. And the reason they can tell is they can read the Centrum. So imagine you take this pill back then. I don't know if Centrum is better now or what have you. And this is all hearsay. But it's like swallowing a stone. This goes right through you. So this is why Thorne's multivitamin is so much more expensive and Centrum is so much cheaper, right? You get what you pay for. Get what you pay for. So yeah, you get what you pay for. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. There's no getting around this. There's no getting around this. You can't go super cheap and not pay a price for this. Like fish oil is another thing should never ever go cheap on. Because the cheap fish oil is going to be rancid. You can't taste it. You can't smell it. There's no odor, Angelique. But it's actually worse than taking no fish oil. To show you how bad it is, right? I'll put a good brand for fish oil in the show notes as well. I do Carlson's. It's from Norway, but I think it's Norwegian, I think. Or maybe I'm mixing up with Nordic fish oil, another good brand. But I'll put that in the show notes as well. So you guys can get access to that. Hey, thank you, Seek Amethys. It's a very nice compliment. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Like as I said the other day, doing shows with people here is a hell of a lot more fun than when I was just doing videos staring at the screen like this with my script, stare at the screen, say some stuff, stare at my script, or look at my teleprompter, trying to avoid looking like I'm reading. This is a hell of a lot more fun. Hell of a lot more fun. I can tell you that for sure. Oh, it's funny I just said this. Maybe I was reading your mind or something. Can I recommend a good fish oil? Yes, Carlson's fish oil. Let's go back with the sharing my screen. Carlson's fish oil is a good fish oil. And you notice, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you see this purchased, right? So so you literally see in my Amazon what I'm buying. It says delivered to Kirk, right? Okay, so you're seeing all of that. So let's do Carlson's fish oil purchased. Yeah. Nowadays, I get this. It comes from usually the local Amazon stuff delivers it. This is a very good fish oil, Carlson's, right? So again, I'm not just recommending, I'm not pulling stuff out of my ass, as the saying goes. Everything I recommend to you guys, I buy this with my own money. Nobody's sponsoring me. That's right. Been buying this damn thing. It says last purchase 2021, but that's misleading because when you try to buy it now through Amazon, they usually deliver it with the Amazon Prime. You know, ever since that stuff popped up since COVID, I've gotten addicted to ordering my delivery of my groceries now. This is very good. And I was right, it is Norwegian. It is Norwegian. Yep. And get the natural lemon flavor. Some people don't like this stuff, but to me, it actually tastes nice with a natural lemon flavor. So, yeah. It does taste nice. Weezy Mana has a good question. Is palm oil healthy? Everyone I know using that person just don't like the smell of it. To be honest, I don't know if palm oil is healthy or not. Does it have omega-3s, omega-6s in there? Because then it probably is. In a good ratio, that is. I honestly don't know if palm oil is there. I do fish oil. I know cod liver oil is good. Extra virgin olive oil is good. Palm oil. That I'm not sure of, to be honest. I'm really not sure about palm oil. Palm oil chemical formula. Let's see. But you know, my general rule too, if you don't like how something tastes or smelling, it doesn't matter how great it is, right? There's this oil. Can I see from here? Black seed oil. Man, that 2012 vision is great. If you only knew how far I'm actually looking to read this, it's across the room. And it's dark over there, by the way. Black seed oil. Good for a whole bunch of things. I don't like how it tastes, so I don't use it. Don't use it. So, well, one of the bad things about palm seed oil, palm oil apparently, it's the major driver for deforestation of some of the world's most biodiverse forests, destroying the habitat of already endangered species like the orangutan, pygmy elephant, and Sumatran rhino. Let's see if it's helpful or not. Oh. Interesting. It might not be good for you. It has high saturated fat content. It's apparently very controversial, though. So when there's smoke, usually there's possibility of fire. So it sounds, so Angelique, it sounds like, say, probably ain't gonna bother with the palm oil there. See me? No bother with the palm oil. Just use your coconut oil, or your fish oil, or your olive oil. You have a whole heap of oil them to choose from, right? Don't bother with the palm oil. I already see enough red flags for the palm oil. Nah, I'm not bother with the palm oil. This is probably why I've never had palm oil. So don't bother with that. Interesting. I did not know this. Nigerians cook everything with damn palm oil. Interesting. Yes, thanks. That's what we love about this show, transparent here. Yeah, I'm ridiculously blunt. I can't help myself. For good and for bad. For good and for bad. Needs Watches says, I don't think I've ever had palm oil, to be honest, at least that I have known about it. Well, apparently, if you've eaten food in Nigeria, you had palm oil indirectly. So, you know, a lot of the stuff in the black culture, whether it's from Jamaica, Nigeria, or whatever, we got that stuff because it was cheap, right? A lot of black culture food you can trace it back to economics, is that it was cheap, which is why we utilized it. And it became black food, for lack of a better word. So, but that doesn't mean it's good, right? In Jamaica, people can eat chicken back. Not the greatest part of the chicken at all. At all. I'm just dropping the link again in case any of you guys want to call in. So it sounds like palm oil. Don't bother with the palm oil, Angelique. Don't bother with the palm oil. You have only option them to choose from, right? Fish oil, cod liver oil, coconut oil. Coconut oil is pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And for coconut oil, I use, is it Dr. Bronner's? It might have been Dr. Bronner's. Let's see, coconut oil. This is Garden of Life, but this is not my usual one. No. And with, there we go, Dr. Bronner's. Yeah, again, this stuff is showing up through the Amazon Prime Whole Foods delivery. Because some of the stuff you could normally buy from Amazon, you just get it through the Whole Foods app, essentially. This is pretty good. Certified fair trade, whole kernel, virgin coconut oil. And of course, it's USDA organic. Yeah, Dr. Bronner's makes good stuff. Their soap is super clean. That's the soap I use as well. I use Dr. Bronner's soap. Very good soap. Let me show you guys that. Dr. Bronner's soap. There you go. Yeah, recently purchased this. And I usually get this one, the unscented stuff. I don't need no fancy scents. This is the cleanest of their clean soaps. All one hemp baby unscented pure Castile bar soap. I got sensitive skin. So for those of you with sensitive skin, this is perfect, right? This is perfect. Super duper good. Super duper good. And by the way, that's palm oil in it. Which is funny. Which is funny. So let's switch back here. Okay, let's see. Have any other questions, comments going on here? No, I don't think so. So needs watches, you're gonna have to watch the replay, man. You missed all the good stuff. You missed the best parts. But hey, that's the good thing about this stuff. There's the replay, right? There is the replay. So unless anybody else is gonna call in, or you have any other questions? Any other questions? Nope. So last chance to call in or ask questions before we wrap things up. All right. Well, again, happy Friday. Thanks a lot. I learned new things as well. Always learn new things from you guys. Either because I'm preparing or you ask some question I don't know the answer or I got to jog my memory or on the fly come up with an answer. So thanks so much. We'll be doing a show tomorrow and Sunday. I'm doing a show every day this week. Tomorrow and Sunday is going to be pretty good. They're really good shows. Really good shows. One will be about creatine, most likely. For the people that are trying to build muscle, creatine is pretty awesome for that. It's pretty much the most studied supplement out there, right? But even if you use it already, you'll learn new things in this show for sure. I learned some new things. Also, gonna do one on foods to help with muscle building and burning fat. Well, the same kind of things you can utilize because we've been talking about real food today, right? So that will tie right into that. Again, it's things you might think you know, but I guarantee you'll learn some new things. Better appreciation from things. And maybe you'll just jog your memory on something, right? So that'll be Saturday and Sunday. As of now, I don't know when. So here's a question. I should have put this in the community tab. When do you guys think a show would be good on a Saturday and a Sunday? Actually, let's do this right now. Just type in the chat, when is a good time for a show on a Saturday and a Sunday? I was guessing on a Sunday, like 3 p.m. or something. People come back from church. It's not too late. On a Saturday, I don't know if it should be like 6 p.m. or early in the morning or, well, not early in the morning. I'm not waking up early in the morning. I'm not sure. What times do you think would be good for a show? I'll put this in the community tab as well. What are good times for a show on a Saturday? Because I got my Monday to Friday time slot set up, right? 8 p.m. What are good times for a show on a Saturday or a Sunday? Let's bring this up really quick. Da, 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 da. Yeah. What's a good one to do? I'm curious about that. What would be a good time? I'm going to put this up. What is a good time on Saturday and Sunday to do a show? Let's see if this works. Show. Bam. That worked. What do you know? It's nice and big. What is a good time on Saturday and Sunday to do a show? Let me know in the chat. So, 7. So is that Saturday or is that Sunday or is that both days? I think you guys will have to specify which day you're talking about. 6 or 7. Is that Saturday or 6 or 7 on Sunday or both? So I got 6 or 7 and 7. Okay, 6. Okay. So we got 6 or 7 so far. Because I guess I'm thinking Saturdays before people go out. And on Sunday, not too late before people get ready for, I don't know, for Monday, for lack of a better word. For Saturday and Sunday, 6 or 7 for both days. Okay, so later is better. Okay. Okay, yeah, because the one time I tried a Sunday show, it was 3, and that was a bit too much. It didn't go so good. I think Needs Watches does his show on the weekend earlier, which I could see working. Because I'm doing a show with Needs Watches on Sunday. Oh, that's another thing. Check out Needs Watches and me on Sunday. I'll be rocking my watches then. I don't know. When I was wearing the t-shirt, I would do my regular double watch thing, but with the tank top, I think it looked kind of, maybe it's kind of strange. So I'm just wearing the Apple Watch, but normally I wear 2 watches. I know it's strange, but I view the Apple Watch as a fitness device and my watch as a watch, right? You can probably see, is there like a space for my arm? Like a watch mark? No, more so for the Apple side anyway. Okay, so I'm getting good times here. So the earliest I've seen is 3. So between 3 and 6, 5 and 7. Okay. 4 p.m. Banger of a show. Yes, needs watches. I agree. Oh, a show will be a banger of a show. I agree 100%. Needs watches. Yeah, his audience is up early and they're still having their copy of newspaper before noon. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So this is good feedback. So it seems like somewhere around 6 seems to be kind of a consensus. So, okay, this is glad I asked this question because it's later than I thought on the Sunday, which probably explains why my 3 p.m. didn't work on Sunday. Yeah, so later is better. Okay, so everybody's gotten to do all their Sunday things. And Saturday, I'm guessing why you guys pick later, people have done Saturday errands, fun things, and it's before they go out, if they're going to go out, whether it's dinner, the movies, or whatever. So, all right. Nice. Yeah. There's still blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is great feedback. Thanks so much again. Yeah, because I was really just pulling something out of my butt there for the time. And I was most likely going to get it wrong again on Sunday because I would have never guessed that late, to be honest. Okay, cool. So Saturday and Sunday around 6-ish, I guess, basically, is what you guys are saying. All right, awesome. Good to know. So Needs Watches and I will be on Sunday at 11 on his channel, not my channel, on his channel, Needs Watches. Awesome channel. Yeah, very smooth guy. He has a great set. He's got a great set. I really like his set. He's got a pretty smooth set. And yeah, I've watched a couple of his videos. Very entertaining. Very entertaining. You can tell, A, he knows a lot about watches, and B, he's entertaining, which is probably even more important, to be honest, right? If you're boring, people can Google health, they can Google watches. But if the person can present things good, then that's much better. much better. So, all right. So it sounds like I'll see you guys on Saturday, 6 or 7 or so. Oh, here's one other question. How much advance notice do people need? Because I see different channels, they'll like drop the thing 30 minutes before or an hour before or 4 days before. Like how much time do people need to see, hey, a show is on? I mean, Monday to Friday, I am 8 p.m., right? That's pretty standard. But how much lead time do you guys typically need? Oh, wow. If I had known earlier, I would have made the show, or not, as the case may be. It's probably another question for you guys. How much advance notice do you need? I guess some of you guys have kids, or maybe they're super duper busy, or what? Yeah, I'm not really sure. So, yeah. Got to give me a day in advance. Okay, Skincare Dozen says a day in advance. Okay. Yeah, I figure like usually a day. That's what I feel as if it's a day for me. I'm pretty sure when your channel is huge, you can just drop 30 minutes before. Actually, even just big, not even huge, actually. I know one of the Notre Dame shows I listen to, they will have a couple hundred people and they just drop 30 minutes before. But then it's kind of standard. They do it daily around the same time, though. So, okay. So it's another poll question for you guys. I like a day or so, and I'll click the reminder. Okay, so Needs Watches, he has like a day. And he also has a channel, obviously. So he's talking not just from a personal perspective, but as a fellow content creator as well. So that's good to know. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try to plan these things out even better. So today is Friday. So tonight I will send out something for tomorrow. And then for sure by tomorrow, I'll send out something for Sunday. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll get that done tonight. So whatever time you guys look at your phone tomorrow, you'll see something pop up in there. Okay, cool. And optimally, I'll be able to give you 2 days notice, but for sure a day. All right. Yeah, thanks for dropping the link to Needs Watch's channel. Thanks. Go check it out. It really is. You can tell just from your arrive before you even click on a video that it's professionally set up. It's very well professionally set up. His thumbnails look really, really good. Always a good sign there as well. And he said, got great audio. You can hear the dude clearly. No crazy ass audio going on. And his lighting is on point and his camera is on point. You can clearly see him and clearly hear him. All very important. All very important. And his content is high quality. He's giving you very good information. So very good information. All right. So day in advance and around 6 or 7 tomorrow. So I'm going to call it now Saturday, tomorrow, 6 p.m. So you'll see something reminding you for tomorrow, and Sunday again at 6 p.m. So I guess I'm going to do Monday to Friday, my usual 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 6 p.m. It'll be consistent. Hopefully people, muscle memory will click in after a while. That's the deal. That's the deal. Awesome. So again, Salatas my massive, me agalang now. For those who don't speak Jamaican patois, that is goodbye, my people. Bam. With a Jamaican fist bump.